Oh, hello. Good evening. I'm not sure where Tommy is. He's about somewhere. I'm Tina Bird, and I'm here in Southampton. And here's Tommy now. Hello, Tommy. Good evening.
Greetings.
Hello. Greetings, Earthling. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Happy New Year, everybody. Ready for a new year in the UFO world?
You're a bit quiet there, Tommy.
So, there's a couple announcements I want to make before we start the show, but I'll let Tina say greetings. Well, we got some interesting information from you, Tina. Why don't you tell the world what's going on?
Well, hello, everybody. My name's Tina Bird. As I said earlier, I'm from Southampton in the UK. And today I got a notification from Amazon to say, blah, blah, blah. If you look at the top, Tina, my top picks on Amazon has selected my book. So I'm in the top picks from Amazon Books. So there you go. Number one top pick, Amazon Books, was me this morning on Amazon. So thank you very much, Amazon. They allowed me this morning with a little email. So I'd like to thank them. And I'm very proud. That is my first book out. I do have another one called The Checkpoint, but that's The Guardians of Light and Brotherhood of the Night. So you can buy that on Amazon, Kindle, and buy a copy if you see me. I'll quite happily sign it for you. But yeah, tonight, so I'll hand it back over to Tommy. It's good to see you all. But I'm very proud. Thank you for everybody for that. So there you go. That's me, T.A. Bird, The Guardians of Light and the Brotherhood of the Night on Amazon top picks. So you can go there and you can find me. Thank you very much for that. And my readers. So thank you. We got a great show for you tonight. Tommy's put our little our title up today. Aliens Are Real, the truth only. Tommy will be back on in a second. He's just let me have my jibber jabber to say hello. But a new year now in 2023. So welcome everybody. Tommy, what have you got on our agenda for today?
Well, I'm just trying to get my volume up a little. It's awful low.
Yeah, I've turned it up my end because I thought it was me, but it is definitely your end.
Okay, yeah, I know. I'm just trying to raise it. I got it.
Well, Tommy's playing with his volume. I'll just go a few news, the internet news concerning UFOs. So here where I actually live in Southampton, like I said to Tommy, I've been noticing a few meteors or little asteroids in the sky, and people are like, no, the moons are this. I'm like, no, they've got a green and blue flame behind them. Well, one actually shot across the sky in Hampshire yesterday on the 9th of January at 8:17 p.m. in Southampton. It was classed as a meteor fireball, and it flew over Southampton, not far from where I live. And that was caught on doorbell cam, and someone's doorbell cam, and you can look that up on the internet. And other things, Southampton and England, actually. Southern England celebrated quite a lot yesterday of the first UK space launch ever. That happened down southwest of the country, down Devon way, in our space launch pad down there. It took off. Went to launch up into space, no problems. And on this morning's news, there was, now let me get this right, they're not sure, they didn't say it was a malfunction. They said an anomaly happened. People saying that the satellites didn't deploy and actually go into space, but the actual news reported this morning on British News that it was an anomaly. So I'm not quite sure what that means, but they'll work that out. But it actually went to go up, but it just didn't deploy the satellites. So it's good in one way, but not so good in another way. And something else is actually happening in Britain as well. So apart from like fireball space launches, and there's been reports of NASA intelligence coming to the UK and Britain. It said that a UFO hotspot has been an interest over the recent years, but recent as well, with multiple sightings and interest from NASA. It's drawn interest from all over the world. NASA has reviewed footage because it's quoted, I think it's the Mirror, I think it's Mirror on online, that a village called Bonsall, so like a cottages and villages in the Peak District, just off a national park, borders a national park in Derbyshire in the UK, someone actually filmed a UFO. They actually filmed it up there, flying about. NASA took the film and they looked at the film because they're interested, because they think it was the same UFO spotted around the Columbia mission in 1996. So I'm sure it was the Columbia mission 1996. So they think it's the same type of UFO. So NASA's taken the footage and looking at that. So NASA would know if it's the same type just by looking at it and review it online and news. But they've actually taken, I believe, the film. It's been reported, and they're studying that. Not far from that, on the 4th of January this year, so last week, about 5 days ago, a UFO was spotted and filmed over Doncaster, just up the road. That's also a video footage of that one. That's the 4th of January 2023. And that as video can be seen on Dailymotion online. So quite a lot of anomalies, space launches, fireballs, meteors, lots of things flying about in the sky over southern England and in England. And there you go. So thank you, Tommy, if you look on screen, viewers. The Guardians of Light, brother. Thank you very much for that link. Tommy, you've been fantastic. Tommy, over to you.
Well, just here in Hawaii last week on the news, the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, they showed, well, it wasn't 6 o'clock, it was 10 o'clock the first night, a UFO over Hawaii. Over 500 people called in to report it. And they actually said it's probably some kind of UFO, but they couldn't say directly what it was. Well, they said the government did not claim it. And if anything's flying over us that's not listed by the government, it is considered a weapon. And it will be taken down or observed or whatever. I have the original recording of Edwards Air Force Base when the UFOs were over it. And it was an hour long. And it was going through all the different commands of calling this person, calling that person. 45 minutes later, they get 2 jets to come out there just to see the UFO shoot out into space. But I have the actual document because my friend was in the airport, in the observatory tower, recording it when it was going down.
That's interesting to me because in England here, there's been like a blanket of news recently, unless it concerns Europe, migrants and how bad the British economy is. There's been a blanket of world news, lack of world news. But luckily, I look at other resources on channels. And something Tommy's just said, apart from the large volcano has been erupting not far from where Tommy actually lives and other volcanoes in that area, I believe that commercial flights aren't supposed to fly over active volcanoes, if I'm correct. So it's either a secret military airplane or a UFO. There you go. Tommy's holding that in front of you guys. There you go. So Tommy has that for you. Wow, that's old, Tommy.
Okay, it was old, but my friend was in it. The friend that filmed this, he filmed all the old-time original B movies from the Creature from the... He showed me the first native movie with a native person in it, and it was pretty simple, but I was over his house and he had reels and reels of footage of movies that he worked on, and he did a lot of the Munster movies. But he was in the tower when this happened, and I listened to it about 5 times. It took an hour for the government and the people in the tower to get 2 ships out there when 3 ships were traveling over and around that base. And you think if they were doing anything bad, we would have never saved the day, that's for sure. So when you hear we're on top of that, we're not. But what I want to bring out in this show today is what you perceive as a UFO and what could be a drone or a government ship. Now, I cut in anytime you want, Tina, but Billy Myers came out in the 50s, and he started prophesizing about his alien friends and everything. And then he shows you these little satellite ships going around his property. He became really famous. He made a prophecy. His prophecies came true, about 89% of them. But I don't want to promote his prophecies because they have nothing to do with UFOs. But he said he worked with the Pleiadians, all right? He released a picture of a girl who was from the Mickey Mouse Club. And it was the girl from the Mickey Mouse Club. And he said, well, she's the alien that I'm dealing with. I mean, he fantasized a lot of things. Now, I did a show with Michael Horn, who's his promoter in the United States. And I challenged him. He came on. He was talking about himself for a half hour, and then I confronted him on some of the stuff. And he goes, well, yeah, I came on here to talk. I said, goodbye. And he just left the show. But people, when you challenge them on the truth that they're putting out there that are lies, they can't back it up, so they can't defend themselves. So, people, what I want you to think about, when you see a ship, what is it doing? I mean, if it's going by the sky real fast, obviously it doesn't care about you. But like Patina, if she goes out any night, there's a ship above her. Obviously, there's something connection between her and them. But an average person, they see a ship coming along real slow, going over the city. What are they doing? Cruising around looking for what? What do you think they're there for? See, when a government ship comes over our country, the government knows that, all right? And they will shoot it down, just as Russia does. And they just did. Now, when we say, oh, well, we don't know what it is, they have to know what it is or they would shoot it down. I saw a triangle ship come out of the ground in the middle of the day here in Hawaii. All right. It was 20, well, not 20, maybe about 50, 80 feet above my head, but it was blowing my eardrums out. And when I took my camera out, I had 2 cameras on me and both of them froze. But only a half a mile from there, when I went into town, nobody heard it. So you could only hear the sound directly under the ship, but it was only so high for me. As it went up higher, the sound disappeared. So when you see ships and we don't hear them, you usually don't. I just watched a video a little while ago, and it had all these sounds in it and everything else. There was a plane. Basically, it was in Russia. It was just shot. They shot down a UFO, and the video is up online right now. People, Putin said this 4 months before Trump was elected. I want you to tell the world about aliens and UFOs. Tell them what you're doing. All right. And then he also said, I want you to tell the world what happened at 9/11. But then he said, and Putin said this on Russian TV, we are dealing with many races. 2 of them want to destroy the planet. Why would Putin say that if he wasn't having wars with them? And we are. I'm going to put 2 books up in a little while that you need to read about what's really going on and has gone on in the UFO world. They're true stories. They're not fictionary. They're not imaginary stories. And it's not somebody's bad dream. All right. You got to read them. I'm going to put the links up. I just ordered the newest version. It's a voiced one because I don't like reading anymore. But his book started with the sands of time. I'm not going to go into all the details. I'll get into that later. But people, the truth's out there, but not in all these books coming out. It's all people's ideas. Tina, I know you're friends with a lot of people. I'm not. I don't like to make friends with storytellers. I was just dealing with Travis, the alien hunter. And he went on and on about who he is, what he is, how powerful he is. He's the most powerful martial artist. He has the best martial artist friend. He went into all these things. I could analyze anybody's handwriting. And he just went on and on about himself. I said, okay, what about a UFO? Oh, I was abducted, and they wanted me to, and I actually started asking him questions, and he just went on and on and on. But I put maybe like 10 messages underneath him. Because, you know, what he says and what's really going on, oh, the good aliens. Okay, Tina will agree with me on that. I have never met one. I never met a person that I worked with that wasn't an experiencer that had a good experience with an alien.
So what is a good alien? Because on average, according to people out there, it's only nutty people that get abducted. So that just wipes out 1% of the whole population because the rest of us must be nutty. Apart from the people that have been abducted, well, anybody I know that has come forward has not said directly that they've been invited on board a ship, that they've been pre-asked, got the government to agree to come into our airspace so they don't get shot down. They're not infecting or bringing bacteria into our world or radiation. Because don't forget, you've got the ozone-friendly green people, the environmentalists saving the planet. I'm sure they're concerned about UFOs bringing in high doses of radiation that could kill the planet Earth and suck the oxygen out of our atmosphere and drain our rivers and reservoirs and take our minerals and take human embryos and sperm. I'm sure that they're not worried about any of that. So apart from that, that obviously does not make them very good people, does it? So they're obviously given these abductees written permission and given us advance warning so we can just say to the government, by the way, I've just got a spaceship coming in, so make sure one of your planes doesn't fly into it. Make sure we're going to come in the daylight. We're not going to come and abduct you against your will at night. We're giving you written confirmation. We're coming at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, and you walk out your front door and we'll take you on board ship. And then we can sit down and have tea somewhere. How about that? And then we can have a little chit chat. That doesn't happen. That only happens in fairy tale stories and things you see on TV and films like E.T. These things come into our atmosphere uninvited. They come into your local airspace uninvited. I live near an airport. They could knock down, coming into our atmosphere. They could kill anybody on board a ship or accidentally hit a plane and kill innocent people. And the Russians have already said, and Americans, and I'm not sure if it's Spanish or Portuguese, other people have come forward to say that they've lost people when engaging ships. So it's cost human lives already. So I don't think that's very human friendly. So we're now down to them breaking into your home against your will at night, terrorizing you, taking your children, abducting you. You're being tortured on a table. What part of that makes that good and friendly and being invited and informative? I'd really like to know your thoughts on that, Tommy.
Well, getting back to the alien hunter, he was talking about, they program people. Well, we know that. 99% of all experiences are programmed. But this is what he said. Oh, they took him on a ship and they shut him off. So he said he turned himself back on, all right, on the ship. And, when people say that, it sounds completely like another program. I mean, for what he said, I mean, all these people that claim these great experiences have not, let's see the proper wording, have nothing really important to say. All right. When are they going to come out and say, okay, they're going to bomb Russia or they're going to do something, anything other than, oh, they were good to me. Oh, they took me here, there, and everywhere. All right. We're beyond that. And now they're all talking about the space program being the most. Musk came out and said it's the most important thing. I said, for what? The people that want to run away from Earth because it's going to be destroyed? Why would we need to pollinate the universe, which is the word I like to use, when we can't take care of our own planet? We got 8 billion people here. You don't think we could do an incredible job on cleaning up this planet, making it incredible, make it a place of the future instead of the past?
So they want to take SARS and just infect the rest of the universe. They can't even help the people on Earth.
It's sad. It's so sad. And when I listen to these people talking over and over, all these different sites, interview this guy's got incredible information. And what's he say? Nothing important. Tina has a lot to say. Like I just put it up there. We need to get her to put her book out. It's been trying to come out for a couple of months.
It's trying to come out for 2 years, actually, a year and a half, 2 years. I'm at the place where I've got it down. I tried to post it with pictures in, and then they wouldn't allow me to publish it with pictures in.
But see, your name's out there. Your name's out there. So then that book will pop up with your book when they pull up your name. Yeah. So it'll be able to get pushed out mainstream, which we needed to do. We need somebody telling the truth out there. Now, Sean David Martin, who wrote this other book I'm telling you about, multiple books, it's a series. The government has been on top of him since he came public. He was the top psychic from 1995 to the time he was put in jail. All right. On top of that, he was the person that discovered Area 51. They took people out there in a van to watch the ships come in, land in there. The government spotted them there, and that's when they bought all that land, put all the things around it, made sure nobody ever went back in there. But from then on, they've been on top of him. And the whole Sands of Time story is real. It's about the United States, Russia, and Germany, how they work together, what they did, and the things they didn't work together with. But everything that went on in between that. And you need to understand that because everybody's, well, Russia's this, China's that. No, it's a lot different than people imagine. Germany, they had the first satellites. I'm talking about real fighting and real wars and working with real aliens, not a stupid little piece of metal out in the yard trying to get it to fly. I'm talking about reality, what was going down during that time frame. I mean, up to now. And it's all the way up to the present. The first book I read was only up to a certain year. I forgot which president it was, but you need to read the series or listen to them. It'll blow your mind away. And it's not written because it's trying to make money. It's written to bring the truth out, like I do. I mean, Sean David Martin was my friend for a very long time. And when they put him in jail, they had 150 fake charges against him. Not one witness would come out to testify because there was none. And then on top of that, he's a sovereign citizen. He's not allowed to testify in a court of law. So he couldn't say one word while they were attacking him and putting all these charges on him, and then they put him in jail. And they did everything to try to kill him in jail. I won't go into all the things, but he's dying. He's got cancer from his throat down into his lungs. He's surviving. He just had 147 chemo treatments, and they showed his whole neck burnt out and everything. But he's a survivor, and he's a truth bringer. He brings the truth out. So when I put that link up, check it out. I mean, people were selling his books for like 20,000, 15,000. I mean, people are pretty weird out there. I mean, they even tried selling my book for $5,000. But again, his truth is in those books. You need to listen to that. Not the stories you hear at every UFO conference. Not, well, here's a ship. Tina, go out and see a ship any night and film it. So what? But what happens to her is important. Why are they keeping her? Why do they keep coming back to her? All these other UFO people, I mean, the alien hunter was going on about why they will pick him. They took his son too. I said, there's reasons. Once they go to a whole family, there's a DNA that they like or they can use, which works better with breeding and everything else. But it's not about friendship. It's not about what we can teach them. We have zero to teach them, people.
It's what they take from us.
They're thousands of years older than us. Their ships get better every 50 years. Even Billy Meyer's alien friends, the Pleiadians, aren't driving around in those ships anymore. They're outdated. We update our cars, every 5 years, every 10 years. You don't think aliens that are way advanced don't advance further? I mean, not that advancement is better, because it's probably not, because it interferes with the structure of the universe. But they don't care. They don't have a God. So when people say that spiritual aliens, really? Ask Tina about spiritual aliens. Did you ever meet one? I never heard of one. Back to you, Tina.
Well, just to touch on spiritual aliens, you know where I stand on that. I don't like the word contactee. I think demeans abduction and what abduction happens to people, because it is a crime any way you look at it. And what people are missing every single time is contact. They're about when contact happens, when they land on the lawn, and when contact happens, we have all these emissaries. They've already met people from all over the globe. Abduction is contact. When you take another species, you communicate them or you test them and you put them back or you enter their world, that is communication. That is disclosure. You're contacting a different species for a purpose of taking them out of their environment. That is contact. If I went to a lake and grabbed a swan, which is the king's bird now, which is protected under the king's rule, I'd get done for illicitly taking a swan because I'm touching it. That's contact. So if aliens are touching you and taking you and cutting bits out of you and taking your ovaries and sperm, taking you from your environment, that is contact. People seem to be missing that key point. When you take gorillas out their environment and you contact them, or you can teach them sign language, or you feed them, or you give them medicine, or you help transfer them from one cage to another. When they see you, that's eye contact. That's one form of contact. When you speak to them, that's verbal communication. That's another type of contact. When your environment, that's environmental contact. When you change their habitat. So there's all kinds of consciousness and different levels of contact. People are completely missing that. They're completely missing the biological contact, the physical contact, the mental contact, the communications contact. People, we're being contacted on so many different levels. People just oblivious because it doesn't fit in their little box. So I think the way people think and need to change and just use a bit of common sense probably will go a long way. But contact has already happened. I'm not just saying it's just happened to me. It's happened to millions of people, not just me. Tommy.
Well, when people have to go on about themselves in the UFO world, I'm talking about, all right, and how powerful they are and what they can do and all this, they're not talking about the UFO world. They're just talking about their ego. All right, aliens don't have an ego. Well, they would have been here stepping on the planet and doing what they want with everybody. But again, when you hear somebody going on about, my door is a magical door, my bedroom's this magical thing, I could send lightning bolts through the sky. I said, do one thing and show us what you can do, really. All right, it's the same in the spiritual world. Prove it, or don't go out there saying it. All right, we have aliens here. Yes, we do. Do we have good things happening with aliens? No, we don't. Please, somebody, something incredibly good happened. Prove it and show it to us. The world would love to see that. Other than they took you out for dinner and gave you a lobster dinner. I mean, what do you call great? What would be beneficial to the race that you can bring out? I had a friend, we were supposed to do a UFO conference and everything, but they were into sex and they wanted to have contra sex at the UFO conference. I said, what are you, crazy? Bob Dean actually gave us money to start the conference. And Bob Dean was one of the coolest people in the UFO world. And he died years ago, but he was a great speaker, great person. And he was top secret, for real.
Yeah.
But I worked with TJ Morris. Her husband was top secret too. And I got a lot of inside information. I worked with her for 12 years. Even on his dying bed, he came out and said he flew a UFO for the president. So you could either take that as a lie or the truth. But the truth is, there's truth out there, but nobody listens to it. They'd rather hear some fantasized story of what they consider their truth. And I said, when it can help people, it's the truth. If it can't, it's useless talk. And I haven't heard anybody out mainstream in the UFO world talking about anything other than what they think. I joined everybody's site. I joined the Skinwalker Ranch site. I joined, I've been joining these sites because, okay, I just want to put my links up in there. You know, you always put the truth in between the lies. Somebody might hear it in that. Not that everybody will.
Who's that journalist that's been working with with Jeremy Corbell? Was it George Knapp? What's his name?
George Knapp is a radio host. Another person has no experience. He got involved with the radio, and he keeps promoting himself. And when you go to a conference, you could go to dinner with him on a Friday night, spend like an extra whatever the money is.
So he messaged me on the Christmas Day, on the 8:32, Christmas Day, George Knapp. There you go. And I sent him. I saw he was on TV and he said something about UFOs and if there's sightings near you. And he's obviously in America. So I sent him loads of some of my best pictures, saying that
okay.
And his reply was, I said, well, can you please let me know what you think they are then? And he put, Tina, I wish I knew, but I don't. I've been 75 years after the UFO era has begun, and I've listened to all types of theories, who they are or where they're from. I have no idea. Hoping that 2023 leads to more information, maybe some solid ideas and a bigger picture. And I put, well, thank you for your reply, George. Merry Christmas.
Well, he said he's 75 years old, at least.
He said, I wish I knew, but I don't. 75 years after modern UFO era began.
Oh, well, he wasn't involved with it when it started, but I was 6 years old when I saw my first ship, and that was 1958. All right, and I started dealing with them ever since then. So when these people say, well, I've been in it 20 years, 10 years, 5 years, not a very long time. Tina was taken when she was little, and that's when they usually pick up people. If you notice and you talk to UFO, I've been dealing with UFO abductees for many, many years since I was young, and 90% of them were taken when they were young. Kind of like the pickup age. I don't know why. It's probably that they can actually think. A little baby probably has nothing for them to listen to.
Children that age don't have fear, do they?
No, but they're not afraid, and they know that. So it's easy for them. They just have to stick a candy bar in front of them and they'll go on a ship. But the problem is, what do they do with these children? Program their mind, people. Some people can fight it. Tina's one of the people that fights everything that's going in her. But they still hang on to it because of major reasons, which will be in her book. But people, most of those UFO people get abducted once. They're writing out spiritual books. They're writing out healers. They suddenly become super. And Alien Hunter says, most of the people that are abducted have super abilities. I said, really? I saw 120 scientists and doctors have a meeting, and not one of them understands what's going on with their life. So when people say things, they talk to one person that said, oh, well, this is what it is, and they believe it. I don't believe much of anything. That's why Tina and me are together, because I trust her, I know her, and I believe in her 100%. I don't bring people on that I don't. I'm still waiting for Laura Eisenhower to get back to me. She said she wanted to come on. I just sent her a letter yesterday again. But I had a couple people on. I dealt with big name people. Also, I can find out they lie a lot. I don't know if you remember the name. I don't want to say names. I don't want to get into that. But I work with so many high ranked UFO people claiming these things. I bring them on my show and suddenly they go, and then suddenly, oh, no, I didn't say that. Oh, yes, you did. I was there when you said it. I can go on about these stories these people tell. And the other thing is, when they get abducted and you go to hear them at the next conference, I guarantee that story is 10 times better than what it was the year before. Every year they increase it, add things to it. When I hear other people say things, oh, I'm going to put that in my story too. I could tell you stories like that are incredibly ridiculous, but I pull away from them. I don't have a lot of followers because I go after the people that claim to be so big and they all follow them. David Wilcock. I mean, people think he's the greatest. And all these people out there. Lou Elizondo, I've been harassing him for the past year, and he wouldn't even say, oh, well, what do you want? What's so important? He wouldn't even reply. I said, because the government probably won't let him. But people, we deal with truth. We deal with the ultimate truth, the only truth that we know and experience as fact. She didn't read a book to tell her story. I didn't read a book to tell my story. We're talking about what we actually saw, went through, and have been around. All right. The people that I dealt with when I was younger, the women that lost their children, why would they make it up? And they were just telling me, and they would take me to see the x-rays. They said, here's the hospital I went to, and all these things. Like the story when Tina went to the hospital. She can't even get her video. The government's on top of that now. They weren't when I was young, but nobody cared about it. Nobody respected the word abduction. All right. Nobody believes in it. And everybody that said that was crazy. But when the original Roswell story came out, I mean, they became the hottest people. And now they're still making that story bigger than ever. I said, it's ancient. And now they're coming out with all the knowledge that they were given. They weren't given any knowledge. We don't have any knowledge today. So,
I mean, people that is like, Tommy's right, it's all about knowledge and new things. But what people don't seem to realise is the only reason we know about Roswell, we know about other crashes and other sightings, but there have been more frequently having accidents coming into our atmosphere and our space, which means they're not adapted. They don't come from Earth. They don't come from our airspace. Because if they did, they wouldn't be affected by our atmosphere. They wouldn't be affected by lightning. They wouldn't be affected by our oxygen. They would be able to verbally communicate, and they don't. Obviously, because they are more biologically or technologically advanced. I think they are two different things. I think people are getting them confused. But if they come into a world and a lightning strike or atmospheric conditions are affecting their ships, then that is an effective weapon against them. We just have to figure out what it is about our atmospheric conditions that affect these ships. We know that radar or sonar affects them. It grabs their attention, it draws them to them, it puts us on their radar, so to speak. So, but from Roswell, where it was detected, but what about previous crashes that have been wrote down like prehistoric times, pre-Diluvian times before the flood, or things that came down that have crashed on Earth, and things that were wrote after the flood, things that are in the Bible, and other crash sites that people have found all across the world, not just here in the UK, Bolivia, the deserts, India, Russia, America, other places, Antarctica, other crashes have happened. So what about that? So it's nothing new. People saying it's nothing new. Yes, Roswell's old, but even back then, they were coming into our world, impeding our airspace, but it's atmospheric conditions affecting them. Surely they've learned today that if they're coming into our airspace, we have a technological or biological, environmental tool to use against them. This has never come up. Why, Tommy? This is first time this has come out on the air. It's down to us. 3 months' time, you'll be hearing we've learned that our atmospheric conditions affect UFOs. You heard that from two abductees. Two abductees have just come out, first time ever on air, ever filmed anywhere, that environmental conditions affect UFOs. So there you go, Tommy. First being aired, date and time it.
Two things I want you to think about. John Ford, he's in Long Island in a nut house. he shot a video. He's probably the third most important UFO story out there. He shot videos of a ship that crashed on Long Island. Full footage. All right. They arrested him. They were going to go to trial, and they said no, he'll release the video, so they put him in a nut house. He's been in a nut house since 1969, people. All right. UFO people aren't helping him. They're afraid to go near him. I mean, I was told if I go near him, because I was going to go visit him, they'll kill me, my family first, then they will kill me. So I never actually got to go to prison where he was on Long Island. But second thing, here's something you really need to think about. On war, which is basically what we live on, war, since Atlantis was destroyed. Okay, Russia, Germany, China, United States trade weapons. Well, we'll give some weapons to Iraq or Iran, and they give them weapons. And it's all about weapons we give each other. All right. Now, just to show you how stupid aliens are, and you don't have to believe this, people. I saw documents. I saw Tesla's notes. I worked up where Tesla worked. But he actually was given all his inventions. He wasn't a genius. You don't come out of the air with 200 inventions, 50 of them the most deadliest weapons on the planet, all right, which the United States has. All right. Now, what I want to explain, since they gave that to the United States, we know how to kill reptilians. We know how to destroy the Greys. We know how to take down the Mantis and the Draconians and all of them. They gave us that information, but they were trading. And at that time, they were trading humans, all right? But now, what are they trading? Nothing. So now there's wars. And that's why I said you need to read those books when the wars started, what was happening and what was going on. Because now it's not about, we have weapons to kill them. I mean, the 800 in Long Island, I was out there when that happened. Read about it. Oh, we shot the ship down. 250 people. We shot it down in Jersey, New York. All right. Listen to the stories, how they twist them. They don't want to admit the alien base was on Long Island. And that was where the Montauk Project happened. I don't want to get into all those stories, but they all fit together if you know parts of the truth. All right. And when we talk about the aliens were stupid by giving Tesla weapons, because we developed the weapons they gave us. So when a ship comes into our atmosphere, we can shoot it down. Like Russia's saying, well, our ship could go around the planet in 4 seconds. Well, 4 seconds, a lot more could happen in 4 seconds if you slow it down. If you go into time travel, go backwards, you could blast the city up before they send the rocket up. See, there's so many things happening. I talk to this claim spiritual woman. Oh, I'm a goddess. And it's okay. What about time travel? Oh, that's great. I said, it's great. What's great about it? One person can change history in a second. And we already did when the Montauk Project and the Philadelphia experiment happened. All right. The Philadelphia experiment was the worst experiment that ever happened in the United States. And it was given to us by Tesla. People, it wasn't a lucky thing. It wasn't a good thing. And right now, the HARP system is the most deadliest weapon on the planet. I mean, there could be future ones that I don't even know about right now, which there are. But as of right now, it is known as the most deadliest weapon on the planet. They could take out all the satellites. They could take out a country. All right. But again, people, it was given to Tesla, and Tesla gave it to the world. And even he said, well, I don't know if they're going to do anything good with this stuff, but he gave it to us anyway. You don't give weapons to a bunch of little kids and say, learn how to play with them, because you know they're not going to do things right, at least for a while. So people, think about that. Think about why and what alien races are here. Why are they here now? Sure, they want bodies. They want blood. They want semen. They want ovaries. Because they're destroying their own planets, and there's a war up there. And the good aliens don't have those kind of weapons. So obviously they can't take out the reptilians. They can't take out the Greys. They can't take out the Mantis or any of those races. Good people can't kill. Well, otherwise they're not good people, are they? I just watched a show last night, Good and Bad, Good and Evil. And it was about 2 castles by the side. One was the good castle, one was the bad castle, and they were fighting each other. But again, it's what life is about. Good and bad. All right. I mean, we're not good people. We're not bad people. We're both. We all are. Oh, well, no. Well, they have to have good and bad. No, it's what we are programmed to believe. What's good and bad. I mean, stepping on an ant could be bad to an ant colony. Stepping on a roach is bad to a roach colony. But when you step on a person, oh, no, that's bad. Well, that's to the human race. And when we kill a Grey, sure, that's How many grays do you think we killed? We were killing 10,000 dolphins a year for 10 years straight. You think that's a positive thing in any way? They're trying to train dolphins to kill people. That's how sick the human race is. And when you look at the facts and you say, well, the good aliens are going to come help us do what? What do you think a good alien, if he was Mr. Love and Light alien and came
They're
here?
going to come and cure SARS and AIDS and global warming and fix whales. Of course they are. It's the same old story. If they want you to believe it, they're going to get spilled to say it's good. So unfortunately, there are bad things in life that people have to clear up and talk about. Things that do have to come out and, out the can of worms.
See, people, I don't like reading. That's why I ordered the audio book. But Tina's book just came out. I'll have to read it. I have to read her book because she's on my show and I talk to her all the time and I got to read her story. But people, go out and read it. I'm sure it's good. It wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't. Now, we're going to get her to put a UFO book out, which you all need to read because it's true. And it's not just a story. It's not a fairy tale. And she's going to get some things going soon. Hopefully, this hypnosis session. Like I said, I hope she can do it on Skype with me because
I'm just waiting for the people to get back to me. I have asked them.
Okay, I don't trust too many hypnotists out there. And
it's the same guys last time because they forgot, and then the guy who was doing it got married. So yeah.
This one guy claims to be the top hypnotist on the planet. He said he did like 45,000 people and blah, blah, blah. And I challenged him. I said, well, come on my show. Let's talk. And all that. But again, when people say they're the best, and what's the best mean? Best to who? Who are you better than? I mean, when somebody thinks you're better than somebody else, there's a problem right there. All right. So people, we do this show. We got to prove something. Now, Tina's been radioactive for a while. She's going through
That's my superpower.
I say this true. She has all the symptoms of radiation poisoning. Not that it keeps the same level. It goes up and down. So right now, we'll see how high her radiation poisoning is. And I'll get my hold on.
So guys, a couple of years ago now, it's been at least 3 years this year.
The shirt you gave me?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, Tommy's adapted it. Love it. I sent that to Tommy from England to Hawaii. So a couple of years ago now, Tommy asked me to get a Geiger counter. I thought he was joking. I was having a lot of teeth problems falling out, hair loss, these red marks coming up on my body, and I was ill. So he advised me to get a Geiger counter, a micro Tesla counter, which is what I have here. So I dropped the first one in tea about a Christmas or two ago. So, but I'm going to turn it on. So this is one I've got on Amazon. They're about 18, 20 quid. That's the one there. You can see the back, hopefully. Tommy has the identical one in Hawaii. I'm going to switch it on there, push the red button there, and it'll come on. Now, I have a smart screen computer, so it doesn't read anything. As you can see there, that it says volts per meter and micro Teslas. So it says electrical magnetic tester. So it tests electrical electricity, magnetism, and electrical magnetism and radioactive. Is that right? Electrical magnetic radiation. So Tommy's is flashing already. I can see in his glasses.
I'm trying to give you the reading. It's 150 right now when I have it. And
so when I hold it to me, I've been having headaches for about 3 months now. So, and this was really last week was one of the highest readings I've ever had. So we're going to go again.
What is it right now?
Now, yeah, it's been so my head's hurting now. So let's just see what it's saying. Absolutely nothing. Oh yeah, it is going up there at the bottom. Hold on. It's very low. I have headaches, severe headaches, which I don't never used to suffer. Oh, there you go. Suffer from. Let's try this side.
Go down to your arms because usually for some reason closer to your heart, I guess.
There you go. So it is going up. It's not last week's the same dangerous level, and that was worrying. But as you can see, it's still at the bottom. The micro Teslas, it still is getting back of my head there, and at the bottom there, you can see it harmful.
All right, I'm going to throw this in, people. This is incredible, and it's probably impossible. And I'm not doing any tricks. This Geiger counter, I only get readings on the top scale, except if I bring my Geiger counter over Tina's picture on this video. Let's see if it does it. I'm going to lie today. It's the first time it's not doing it, believe it or not. Mine's up at 300 on the top, though.
So nothing till the back of my neck, and nothing this side. Oh, there you go.
I'm surprised. First
Oh,
time
it's
I
in my
didn't get a
neck there.
reading on this.
Whatever it is, it's in the side of my neck there.
But usually I get a reading when I put it on her picture. But the first time I didn't.
So
Well,
last week was the highest reading I think I've ever got.
Radiation, people, doesn't go up and down. It's not. I mean, it's not like SETI or CERN, CERN, sorry, where it goes. It's only active when it's turned on. When they turn the machine on, it's radioactive. When they turn it off, it's not radioactive. But you can't do that with radiation in the body. It doesn't go on and off like a switch. You can't put it on and off.
All it is here. It's just moved down. Whatever it is in my neck here. But I've been having terrible headaches just here in my head and the back of my neck. It's been awful. Terrible headaches. But that's been. So I had like a weird dream. I told my investigator I had a weird dream a week ago or so, and I had silver numbers in my dream. The UFOs appeared in my dream. They were in the sky, and it was like they were shooting a bit of a silver beam of light. Instead of going, it did go down, but it went across. And then it dissipated. It had like these numbers going across it, like the silver numbers, and they went down, slid down to the ground, and they were like 4 different sets of numbers. But I woke up and couldn't write them down. But I've been having terrible headaches since then. That was a few weeks ago, but that's just from a dream. So it could just be, sometimes you lay funny. But I've had dreams about numbers the last couple of weeks, but I don't know what they mean. Could be.
Well, yesterday morning, I woke up from my dream thinking it was real. But in my dream, I was being forced in a little capsule with 3 other people going up into space. But it was like maybe 8 feet wide, and we were all squeezed in this little thing. And I said, I'm an old man. I'm sick. I can't go up into space. Why are you sending me up into space? But that's when I woke up. I said, wow. And I really felt it was real.
Yeah, that is scary.
Like
the UFO people have helped the elderly, good, interested people. Cheeky kids. I can't believe that.
Well, people, whenever you watch this video, whether you watch it today, tonight, tomorrow, whenever you watch this video, please send it to your friends if you know they're anywhere in the UFO world or care about it at any level. We're not here to make money. We're not here to brainwash people. We're just trying to put the truth out there. Stay aware. Become aware. Look at the facts between the lies. Read in between the lines, because there's so many lies out there. You can't get the truth too easy. But you listen to a person speak for an hour or 2 hours. When they go into the ego, when they go into things and everything else, suddenly you could piece it together that a lot of it isn't the real facts. I mean, all these people, I'm not going to say all the names of people like Tina like, but I listen to their stories. I watch everything they do. I watch the Skinwalker Ranch all the time. I join the site.
Yeah, I like that. I like that program.
It's
I
only
think
$10
I should be
a
there.
month.
Something's telling me I should be there. Greet the little buggers.
And Bob Dalton, what's the other person? I mean, I pay $6 for his site, Dolan. And so, yeah, I spend a lot of money for these sites just to get in there to put my little 2 cents in there. But I listen to them. And there's people asking questions in there, which are cool. I mean, there's people that doubt what's happening and stuff and say, well, that can't be real or this can't be real. And at least they're thinking. Yeah. But when you get programmed and accept everything somebody says just because they're famous, like when you watch Ancient Aliens, when I first saw him with his frizzy hair, you know who it is? His spaced out hairdo. I said, is he a wacko or what? I mean, when David Icke came out.
I met David Icke as well, actually.
Oh, no, I meant David Wilcox. Sorry.
Oh, I haven't met David Wilcox.
Well, I met David Icke too.
Are you referring to my little friend?
Yeah, I was with him. Oh, yeah, no, that's the other guy. But I was with David Icke. But David Wilcox, when he went on TV, he claimed to be God when he came out.
Did he?
He on TV, the first time he's on TV, he goes, I'm God. And to say something like that, no matter what level you're at, you're pretty delusional. I mean, his stories get better and better. He claims he's super spiritual now and all that. But, people, I don't claim to be spiritual. I never say that. when I'm spiritual, I'll be gone. I won't be on planet Earth. I won't live in this alien UFO crazy lunatic bin. I will leave it. But in the interim, people, we're trying to give you the truth. The one book that she put out, read it. I mean, it's not pertaining to the exact same story that we're talking about, but I'm sure it's incredibly interesting.
I'll show you what it looks like. I have a 2 copies of different books here that I've done. I've got a couple more in the pipeline to come out. But so there's the famous Guardians of Light and Brotherhood of the Night. There it is. That's me, T.A. Bird. That's the back. And Deviant Art, it was Annalie Bird who did my cover. This cover does not do it.
How many pages is that book, Tina?
This is quite a hefty one. I was considering breaking it down because I wrote part 2. It's at least 400 pages long.
Oh no, it takes me forever to read.
So it's a good story. You've got to build it up because I've done part 2. I'm doing part 2. And the other one is a bit of erotic tale. It's called The Checkpoint by T.A. Bird. There's a picture of me on the back. It explains what I do. There it is there. And this is a very short story, very brief, very explicit. And that is a very short book. It's less than 60 pages, I think.
Oh, really?
58 pages. So, big difference. But it's like a short erotic tale, but I've done part 2 to that, and I'm working on part 2 to this. This is a good build-up. Very good book. I even read it myself, and I know the story. Good feedback, and it's a very good fantasy story in modern times. But it does, I'm not going to give it away, but I love the characters in there. They're all very diverse characters from around the world, and they're very old. And there's one Pacific character you probably guessed that I do like in here. And it's not just one main character, actually. There's a few main characters. There is a few women in the book, but it's centered around the Guardians of Light, which are like an internal male force. And it's very good. Very good book. I'm quite proud of that. But I've written part 2, but I might break this book down into 2 and then do that as a part 3. So it's like a series. But yeah, it's a very good read. And if you're at home, I wrote it when I was actually ill, wasn't very well. I had major surgery at the time. Couldn't move about the house. And it just came into my head, and I picked the computer up every couple of days and wrote something. So when I do have the time, which is not very often, I do like to pick it up and just read a couple of pages, and it takes me back. But you could write forever, I think. But yeah, with that, it's nearly 5:02. Tommy, anything else? Next week, guys, any of our regular viewers from before Christmas? I know I wasn't available due to we had major problems.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Question, are you back at the zoo?
No, I'm still off. Doctor said... I thought I would have heard back about my heart results and that, and the doctor said I'm not fit enough.
They're not telling you much, are they?
No, we have NHS strikes here in the UK. So we have ambulance people on strike. I think the military, the army's coming out and driving ambulances.
Oh, before you leave, tell them what's going on in England. I mean, what's really happening?
So I feel sorry for the people in Scotland, which is the top part of England. They have been covered in, they've had power cuts, they've had floods. Like they've no electricity or gas for a couple of weeks, maybe months. They've been cut off. Extreme temperatures coming down the country. We've had more flooding, more power cuts. People can't afford to pay bills. I went to a local shop, a big supermarket, which is local to me. Not going to mention any names. And I went in there yesterday. Pharmacy's been shut. And there was at least 10 or 15 people around a medicine aisle. There was nothing, looked like it'd been eaten by locusts on the shelf. You can't buy medicines. They're very hard to get hold of. When I went shopping the week before in the UK, same shop, pharmacist, and they're telling people now, don't go to the doctors. I phoned the doctors 2 days ago to inquire about my sick note, and they said in line with government guidelines in COVID, they are not seeing anybody. If they've got an appointment, it's cancelled. If you have a text message to confirm you have an appointment, don't go to the doctors. I thought, what are the doctors actually doing at the surgeries if they're not seeing patients? They're not doing online consultations. They're not seeing patients. You can't talk to a pharmacist now, whereas they advise you to talk to a pharmacist. And if you phone 111, you'll get to speak to maybe an ambulance person who'll call you back. And just it was on TV like 4 or 5 days ago that they had to take someone out of an emergency resuscitation unit who had cancer, who was very ill, so they could wheel another patient in who'd been in a car park or corridor who was dying, so they could die and they had a room to die in. It's like 99 hours long waiting just to get into a hospital. People have been waiting in. They've got doctors now that are like car park duty to go out and see who's dying and who needs, different places in the queue in car parks in the UK. Food prices have gone up hundreds of percent. Gas and electric's like £2,500 a year. The gas, 2,500 that's capped at the moment until this March. Petrol is just about to go up. It has come back down, but that's about to go up. So you're looking at food shortages. The MPs don't know what they're doing. They're looking at London. They're putting in like 15-minute zones and zones where you can't drive your car. If you want to take your car or have a car, drive an old car, it's going to cost you £87 to go and get your lottery at the local store. UK is falling apart. It's absolute chaos in the UK.
You said something about phone service. Are they still taking the phones away from people?
Yeah, so a lot of people across the country have had bad phone signal on service. And a huge company no longer do landline telephones. They're stopping. The government said at first that they were going to go ahead and do it. Then they said they weren't. But I had a letter months ago. I don't no longer have a landline. They took my landline last year, middle of last year, and my mum no longer has. My mum is an elderly lady. She's 75 this year. So the complications she has using a mobile phone, which means millions of patients will be unable to contact the doctors, or doctors can contact the local pensioners because they will no longer have phones by this time next year. So they are stopping landlines. That's another issue. So we've got no production in the UK of anything. We're in a severe crisis here. The government's refusing to have talks. The cost of living's through the roof. Absolutely horrendous. I went to buy something that used to cost 40p. It was like £1.80. So I bought 2 loaves of bread, 2 pints of 2 litres of milk. So 2 of those, 2 bread, 2 of those, and 3 other items come to £21, probably about $30 in America, just for like 6 or 8 items. Yeah. Absolute madness in the UK.
Why is not much better? I go to the store to buy a couple of things. It's $50 automatically. If I buy more, it's $100.
But there's millions of people that can't afford it. You're getting homeless. You've got elderly people dying in their homes, or there's a pensioner down the road. He lives on his own. There's no one in house with him. He's got no one visiting him. He needs medical care. He has cancer, and he's getting no help from nobody. No community help from doctors, outreach nurses, nothing. And he's just there on his own. It's absolutely disgusting. So, but this is going on up and down the country and regular, but they're not listening to everyday people in England. Before we can't even help ourselves, let alone people coming to this country. It's an absolute mess. Absolute mess.
I appreciate that, Tina, because, we need to know what's going on the planet, not just our little backyard.
Yeah.
And aliens want to come here to do what? Watch us suffer? I mean, really. Well, Tina, it's always a pleasure.
Till next week, and you. Thank you to my co-host, Tommy Hawksblood in Hawaii. I've been Tina Barrett here in the UK, and I shall see you guys next week. Bye-bye, Tommy. Thank you again. Bye-bye. And you. Oh, got time everything. No, it won't work. There you go. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Well, everybody, that was Tina Bird, great person. I want to bring up another name before the show ends. Okay, I was friends with him, all right? And basically, he wrote a book a long time ago. He created a company. The company's still out there, all right? I don't know where I put the post now. Hold on, let me just find it. Whatever it is, hold on, let me just get it up here. Okay, I'm going to put the link up for what it is. Sorry about it. Let me just copy this. Okay, I got it. Okay. I'm putting it into the chat room right now. All right. This book is very beneficial for anybody getting involved in the UFO world to understand everything about it. Now, Fred Bell was, I'll say the word killed. They never actually proved anything about it, but he did a show on TV with Jesse Ventura. I mean, he was talking about the HARP system, and then Fred Bell goes, well, I was involved with testing the HARP system and all that. And then Jesse Ventura goes, aren't you afraid of the government? He goes, no, I worked for the government. And he goes, well, what about me? What about me? He goes, don't worry, you're a high-name person out there mainstream. Read who, I hope you know who Jesse Ventura was. He's pretty famous every which way. But 2 days later, still in the hotel room, Fred Bell died. All right. Now, his book is up there. It's Rays of Truth, Crystals of Light. It goes into a lot of stuff. He was working for the government on the HARP system. He did a lot of work with Billy Meyer's alien friends. He actually was on their ships and stuff. So, and he's not a crazy person, very intelligent man. His family's taken over his business paradigm. Check it out if you're into nuclear reactors, personal ones that you can wear and things like that. Sadly, he was taken out. He was a great speaker in the UFO world. But he actually promoted a lot of medicines that he got from alien races. Now, something that I have known from a long time, when I was at Sargel 18, who disappeared, changed his name and all that kind of stuff. His name's Lord Sargel now, but we're dealing with Fred, I can't say a person's name, one of MJ12. And he was supposed to give us honey. And that honey was supposed to cure all the sicknesses on this planet. All right? And then he was dead. But as far as Fred Bell, he's got a lot of formulas and medicines out there that he was working on. I'm taking vitamins, but, I'm kind of at a place. I'm 70 years old right now. I'm just trying to do what I can before I have to leave this planet or want to leave this planet. Either way, however you want to look at it. This is pretty bad here. And just so you know, I don't talk about spiritual things. Tina doesn't want to get into that at all. I don't blame her. If I had aliens playing with my body and doing things to me, taking my children, all that kind of stuff, I wouldn't be saying, well, somebody's out there watching over me. No, nobody's watching over her, except aliens. If you consider that good or bad, people, oh, that's a good thing. No, they took her children. They're on our ship. And I'll tell you this, it'll be in a book. I don't want to go into details about it because it's a really impressive story that's really important in the UFO world. But the video of her having something cut out of her was taken by the government. They said it was too, believe it or not, they couldn't show it to the world. Too controversial? Really? Again, her story is incredible. What's happening is incredible. But please, people, if you see an incredibly good, important story of good aliens, bring it on. I'll bring you on the show. You got any proof of it? Please. And I'll promote the show for a long time. Make sure that everybody watches it. But right now, the truth that's coming out, I don't think people want to hear it. There are no good aliens. They're not coming here to save your sorry little you-know-what. Just as like Jesus didn't come here for that reason either. But people want to think because they're so desperate that there's hope somewhere. Hope is like delusional. You're in hell, people. Satan rules this world, whether you believe it or not. Everybody has the evil inside them. Whether they let it out, use it or not, is a different story. Keeping it under control is probably the most important thing you can do. Because then it goes into karma. And then if you create karma, you'll never leave this reality. Even if you die, you'll be coming back again and again and again. This isn't about how good you are. Do you know what good means? The same as what do people know what spiritual means? They don't. I mean, somebody picks up a book and puts a hand on a Bible, or somebody was taken on a ship, they come back and they're spiritual. Really? Why? What makes them spiritual? Are psychic people spiritual? No. They're psychics. And even Revelations, it'll say there'll be more false prophets on the planet than ever, which we have already. People claiming they're going to heal the world, heal the planet, save people. It's not happening. And if you think we're moving like all the new age people say, oh, into the golden age and beautiful, things are going to... We didn't start moving forward yet. We are still moving backwards. For the past 100 years, we did not create one spiritual thing. That's pretty sad. We didn't change much. We still got 10 fingers, 10 toes, 2 legs, 2 arms, 2 eyes, 2 ears. But I mean, we don't have wings. We don't have all 4 eyes, 10 arms, none of those things yet either. We're not mutating. Why is that? So, when they say we evolved, there's no such thing as evolving, sorry. It's forced in change by what the government's doing with cloning and all those other words now. It didn't evolve into that. They're making it become that. Coding DNA cells and all that together creates things. We're creating mixtures with animals and entities and creatures and insects and humans. All that's being squished together, trying to be molded into some kind of weird entity. Putting their own idea of soul back into the body and all those ideas that they're playing with. It's not going to make us a better race. It's not going to make world peace. World peace will never happen on this planet, people. As long as there's 8 million people, how many different kinds of gods, or multiple gods, however you want to word it, it can't be under control. Because if I create my own God, I create my rules and regulations for my life. And then we say the word free will. Well, that's because you don't have a God. If you have a God, you're under God's will of what it wants, not what you want. It's allowing you to be alive. You're not allowing yourself to be alive. And half of the things you do destroy yourself. So we work backwards, even though, we're helping each other, we're healing each other. No, we're not. Taking away somebody's karma doesn't heal them. Because nobody can take somebody else's karma. I don't want to get into the religious side of that, but nobody can. All these great psychics, well, I'm taking all your karma away. You don't got no karma now. Really? Well, I just killed 10 people. You're going to take it away from me? Really? Good. Are you going to pay for that? All those families that aren't going to come here, all the families that could have been here, you name it. No, it's not like that, people. You want to believe what you want, you can. The truth is out. See the little guy in the corner over there? That's Mr. Gizmo. All right. He always sits by my feet or somewhere around me when I'm doing my show, which is pretty cool. He's exorbitant at some level. The truth. I do a couple spiritual shows. I'll be doing a workshop very soon. I've been with TJ for over 12 years. I've been with Tina 3. But we've been doing shows on and off for a long time, but we're planning on doing some workshops. The people that were involved are changing, coming and going and moving around. But Tina was with TJ when I first met her. So we have good people coming in, a lot of weird people coming in. So all I can say is I'll be doing a workshop on the highest truth that I know that I can give you to help you unfold to who you are, not to who I am or anybody else is, because we each have to find our path back to where we came from. Well, not that you're going to really get there ever, but going back to it is the only step you need to take, because it only gets better, providing you keep stepping forward. Stepping backwards doesn't help you ever. It'll only keep you here in hell on planet Earth. There's many realms. See, people look at it as going inside themselves or going outside themselves. I like going outside myself. Going inside, it becomes like people with the word consciousness. Consciousness is an energy. And when they say universal energy, is nothing. It doesn't think about whether you should have popcorn today or pizza. It has nothing to do with any of that. And it has nothing to do with which planet's going to hit which planet or which comet's going to hit. No, there's beings up there that control the lower realms as well. Whether you want to understand that, believe that or not, that's your choice. God doesn't worry about all the little things. That's why there's creatures, demons, and all the other words. They all have a role. And if they weren't important, they wouldn't be there. My ex-partner that I did all my UFO stuff with, Mr. Sergeant 18, Lord Sargel now, said in 2034, Jesus comes down and kills Lucifer. Lucifer's not down here. Lucifer's an angel. Jesus couldn't kill Satan, never mind kill Lucifer. You know, people create stories even when they're not even religious. Oh, suddenly they become religious. People in prison, oh, I'm religious, and they get out of prison and they say, I'm a preacher. Really? People don't change. They change their outer appearance so people can perceive them as the way they want to be perceived, but they don't change the thoughts inside their mind. My book is just done. I'm looking for her to get a second edited of it just to make sure it's okay, and then I'll release it. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can because I feel it's one of the most important books to come out for women only, not for men. Men's ego is so impressed upon themselves, they can't go nowhere. But what women need to do, and if they don't, what's going to happen? It's about, I don't know how many words you can actually say on the internet without being in trouble. I was warned on YouTube already I could lose my show. But people, email me, hawksblood1aol.com, text me, you got truth, you got a story, you got anything. Got questions, please, I'll answer them. I'll give you right answers. I won't direct you to the wrong places. I'm accountable to God, people. Not Joe Schmo, not Peter Pan, not Superman, to God only. All right? I work with deities. I work with angels. I did all that. But I'm accountable to God, period. And so is everybody. And if you don't respect that, and you don't understand it, you'll never understand where you're going or when you're going to get there or even will ever get there. And that's a fact, people. I can explain about that. I can explain about how long you stay on the astral plane and all those things. How many people talk about that? They don't. I spent my whole life. I'm 70 years old right now. I spent most of it understanding the astral plane and the four worlds between here and the soul plane, where soul actually goes at its final resting place. All right? And we use different bodies. You heard of the astral body, the mental body, all right, the etheric body, words like that. Well, that's when you get to that plane, you use that body, but you can't keep it here. It can't vibrate here. It's too high of a vibration. Well, I'm this and I'm that. No, you're not. Things would fall apart around you. Things would explode and all that. Take a tuning fork that's a high-pitched tuning fork. It'll break glass wherever it goes. The vibration of people. Oh, I'm a spiritual being. I radiate. Prove it. Let's see your light shine across the room. In my whole life, I only saw 2 people where the aura actually extended 30, 40 feet beyond their body. I mean, I was in a conference seminar. This little old lady walked in and her light rode across the whole room and it filled the whole room. It was amazing to me. And this is a true story. And as she was walking down, I turned around and I looked at her in the eyes and she said, I love you. To me, as she was walking by, and then she went up to the stage and gave her speech. And I still remember her speech. But, you know, people of light can see light of other people. And you can see the darkness of other people as well. If you want to learn a simple little technique, it's called reading in aura. You can learn that in a short time if you want. Then you can see what people really are made of. You can lie, you can tell stories, but you can't change the color of your aura. Your aura is what you vibrate at. So you're not going to vibrate at a beautiful blue, yellow, or white light. If you're angry, mad, anything, or even not at a level of being spiritually aware. You'll see light colors, orange, red, and green, and brown. And then when it's really bad, you'll see holes in all the auras. People that smoke and drink and that, it puts holes in their aura, which allows more negativity to go through their body, which means their light's going down, not up. People, there's a lot of information, and aliens aren't going to come here to help you with that. And what? You think they really want you to come to their planet? For what reason? Why would you bring like a bee colony to your home? Come on, bees, come in my home, fly around. What are they going to do there? People, when you say things, think about why they would. What would we have to offer people? I'll tell you one thing. Awareness, which they don't have. Feelings and emotions they have very little of. Yeah, they don't understand why we do things. Of course they don't. And they don't care, because when they play with people and they hurt them and they put them in a state where they can't move, so they can't fight it. And that's why bondage is really big on the planet right now in the sex world. You know, we tune into parts of things from our past lives and we don't know why. Why we do them in this lifetime. Because they're parts of it. When the alien hunter said, well, it's we learn these things because we're some spiritual being? No, because we're touching our past lives. If you were a piano player, a skier, whatever it was in other lifetimes, that's all within soul. Soul doesn't forget all that. It's when it comes into the body, mind doesn't see it. And mind doesn't communicate with soul too easily. Soul, which is what you truly are. And there's a boundary between the two. Soul constantly tries to talk to the mind. And it's not a consciousness. It's you, period. Not God, not some universal energy saying, go to the store and buy popcorn. You know, everybody's attached to certain things. And why these little trivial words? Because they don't know better. All right, people. I hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you got something out of it today. Please, Tina's open for questions and answers. I am too. Email me if you can't get in touch with Tina. Hawksblood1AOL.com. Anytime. I try to get to my mail as fast as I can. I got a lot of things going on. Life's changing constantly for everybody. And so is the world. But till next time, enjoy your day, enjoy your night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Don't stop. Always keep moving forward, looking for the truth. And there is a truth. And the more you search it out, the more true it becomes. Oh, well, this is true. It's true at whatever level you're at and able to perceive. Well, I believe in God, but you don't know nothing about God. Well, I pray to God, but I don't know nothing about God. God is real, but I don't know nothing about God. That's okay. Faith. Faith is not real. I don't like the word faith. Have faith in it? No. You need truth in whatever you believe or you search out. And I'm going to be doing workshops on that as well. The aura, past lives, regression, all that. Things that we need to know, learn. So stay tuned. Send this link to everybody you know if you can, if you care. Care to put the truth out there? Please do. And I know people hate me, don't like me, because I'm too real. I harass anybody that's telling lies, period. I try to put the truth out there. I say, look, you want to be a man? You want to grow some balls? Call me up, text me, email, we'll talk offline. Otherwise, come on my show. I'll come on your show. And we'll debate the truth. Anytime, anywhere, anybody. That's where my life is. Peace. Truth is only what you perceive it to be, but it always gets better if it gets real. Till next time, Tommy Hawksblood here, calling from the big island of Hawaii. We're in Hawaii, okay?